All right, we're going to get started on this cortisol nutrition workshop in just a few minutes while everyone's joining. Hey guys, we're going to be talking 10 or more must-do things that you need to balance your cortisol with nutrition. Specifically, we're going to be talking about nutrition today. And while we're all just kind of coming in, welcome. I'm curious to know, what is your number one stress and cortisol related issue, symptom, struggle? Tell me please in the comments as we get this going. And as you do that, I want to make sure that you know what to do. Hey everyone, we're going to get started in just a few minutes. Okay. Cool. So as we're waiting for everyone to start this workshop, please just comment below. Tell me one stress or cortisol related issue, like your number one thing that you notice. Maybe it's a symptom, maybe it's a struggle, maybe it's a habit that you can't break. The waking up at 3 a.m. is a major popular one that a lot of people struggle with for sure. Just diagnosed with PTSD, trying to regulate throughout the day. Absolutely, yeah. A dysregulated nervous system and chronic cortisol imbalances are always related. They always go together. Chronic fatigue, gradual weight gain, regardless of healthy fit style. We're going to definitely talk about that because, as you probably all have heard or understand to a degree, how connected specifically gaining weight in your belly, it's called cortisol belly, happens when you're in a chronic state of stress and inflammation. And we're going to talk a little bit about why that's the case. And it's not all in your head. It's directly connected, and why it's even harder to lose. We're going to talk about that. Wake for 2 to 3 hours during the night. Yep. That 3 to 4 a.m. witching hour. Yeah. Unable to relax for sure. Just feeling always jacked up. You could have a very high sort of anxious energy that's sort of driving you and fueling you, and you're not able to come down from it. I've noticed that happens. And then I've also noticed, when I say notice, I mean I've experienced it personally, where my cortisol levels are maybe lower that day. I'm going through a period of functional freeze and my energy is low, and I sort of can never quite wake up, feel rested. And it just makes everything harder to do, because when you're tired, you don't want to do anything, right? You feel unmotivated, you feel low in energy, negative mind, all that stuff. Okay, so we're going to be talking about simple ways related to nutrition that help to balance our cortisol levels. So just let me know if any of these ring a bell, and I'm just reading through my notes. Waking up, wrong thing. Okay, so you feel tired even though you get more than enough sleep. You're always relying on caffeine from coffee or energy drinks, or a midday snack, sugary snack, to just boost your energy levels throughout the day. Maybe you find that you're just gradually putting on weight, especially around the belly, no matter what you do to your nutrition, no matter how much you exercise, no matter how many crunches you do. Maybe you find that your period or something like that is being affected, whether it's coming late, it's coming early, your cramps are awful, you have terrible symptoms. Maybe you find that you're early aging. And since most of us are women in our 30s or above, I embrace aging, I really do, but I don't want to prematurely age. I don't want to see dark circles and crazy under eye bags, when that's not a part of aging. It's a part of the stress that is aging my skin and aging my body. And we don't want that. My anxiety's through the roof. It's hard to enjoy life. It's hard to be present in the moment. Can't stop craving sugary foods or salty foods, especially when I know I'm stressed, but like, what about the other times of life when I'm mindlessly eating all the time? How can I break free from emotional eating? Let me know if any of these are ringing a bell for you. And then just a few more. Obviously, we talked about the sleep thing. And maybe you're wondering, what foods should I be making sure I'm getting in on a regular basis that support my adrenals, which are going to directly support your cortisol levels, that are going to support your energy levels, that are going to help you sleep well, that are going to help give you energy. Maybe you're wondering if there's any supplements. And supplements, I say specifically, like, these are meant to be in addition to all of the nutrition and lifestyle things you're already doing. Like, we're not going to rely on supplements as if they're a quick fix or like a magic pill to fix how we're feeling. We don't use supplements that way. But because stress does really deplete our body of essential nutrients like vitamin C, like magnesium, like B vitamins, we need to make sure we're getting like even more than we would be taking in when we're feeling well. So that's where supplements come into play, and they can help like quench sugar cravings. They can help us sleep better. They can help support our adrenals. And that's where herbs and vitamins and minerals all are coming into play. So we're going to answer a lot of those questions and more. And if you have questions that are coming up throughout this workshop, please comment them in the comments below, or you can use like the question box feature if that's on your screen. It's just easier to find the questions so I don't have to scroll through everything. Yeah. And as you can see, if you want to learn more, you can comment the word stress anytime during this workshop, or if you're watching the replay, you can comment it, and you will get more information on how to balance your cortisol through like specific steps that are simple, that are easy, because I know we're all busy. I know we have so much on our plate that we don't have time to like take on anything else, or we just have such low energy that it's hard to implement any new changes and any new habits because it just feels exhausting to even think about it. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure this is simple, and I'm even going to go out on a limb and call it lazy nutrition hacks. And I say the word lazy partially joking, but embracing it, because a lot of the things that I do are lazy because I don't like to cook for myself. I don't like to do a lot of these things that you might see all these like fancy nutritionists or fancy Instagram chefs making these elaborate, delicious meals, but like, I'm just not going to do that. I want something that's going to be quick, that's going to be simple, that is going to be efficient and effective so I can eat well, eat something that's delicious, filled with nutrition, going to make me feel good, going to give me energy, isn't going to leave me like craving crap later, and honestly, it makes me feel good. So that's where I'm coming from when I'm sharing these tips with you today. But let me tell you a little bit about me and my story just for a few minutes. For those of you who don't know, hi, my name is Christine Cohen. I'm a registered dietitian, and I've been doing work helping people with improving what they're putting into their bodies, improving their mental health specifically, and of course physical health, but really helping them to figure out how to shift how they feel through natural methods. And I've been doing this for 15 years or more at this point. But I really got into this specific world because I started to struggle with my mental health, with my physical health. And I went through, many periods of burnout, but the biggest one, the first one I ever experienced, I was in my mid-20s, and life stress and work stress were just drowning me. There was a lot going on in my life. I didn't know how to deal with it. And I started to struggle with symptoms of weight gain out of the blue. I lost all my motivation to work out, to feel good, to eat well. I was sleeping all the time. I was anxious every day. There were many days I was so depressed I couldn't get out of bed. My cortisol levels, I'm sure if I had them tested back then, would have been very off. Probably a mix of like too high at the wrong times of day and then too low at other times of the day. And I didn't know what to do. This wasn't a thing that people were talking about, and I had to really like figure it out on my own. Something that I connected that I think was my saving grace was how movement could really shift my energy, but I had to learn what was too intense. Like I couldn't do exercise that was so intense that it would just totally burn me out and actually drop my energy, crash my energy. And I had to learn what worked for me. So I really figured this out like slowly, and it took me a long time because I was really just doing it on my own. So I want to give you what not only has worked for me like back then, but what I continue to follow to today, things that have now become lifestyle habits, and ways that, you know, I still get burnt out. Like there are still times where my energy drops, where I don't feel myself, where I feel very overwhelmed, where I get stuck in a functional freeze. And I go back to these simple nutrition habits to help me start to get myself like back to feeling like myself. And that's really what I want for you guys. I think the biggest thing that I learned when I was really struggling is that there is no step that is too small. If you are a high achiever, if you're an ambitious person, and you typically know yourself as to be someone who like takes on a bunch of stuff, you set high goals for yourself and you just go and you do them. But then you hit a wall, stress is overwhelming you, cortisol is an issue. And that's just like not a mode that's accessible to you anymore. And then you're just like, what do I do? How do I do this? Right? And it's like anything that you do doesn't feel good enough. The small steps don't even feel worth like doing because you're like, I used to be able to, you know, run 3 miles. I used to be able to work out 60 minutes every single day. And now I'm like barely able to walk around the block without, you know, feeling super tired, or I'm not able to even like get out of my house and do 5 minutes of movement. I used to meal prep all this food and now I can barely like put something together for myself that is nourishing. So if that sounds like you're in the right place, I just want to reemphasize that. To anyone who's just joining, feel free to comment a question, share some like a number one struggle that you're having with cortisol. And if you're interested in learning more about how to balance your cortisol levels with simple nutrition, just comment the word stress. All right, so let's get into this. So, okay, let's start here. So obviously what we're talking about is chronic stress. It's stress that we're having on a regular basis. Maybe it's been something that's been going on for a few days, a few weeks, a few months, or years. The thing that I want to just differentiate is this isn't like short-term something. Our body is meant to handle short-term stress. We all get that. You hear lots of analogies of like something like, I don't know, you're being chased by a tiger and your cortisol levels have to go up. Your adrenaline has to go up so that you can run and get the heck out of there to save your life. Well, we might not be facing that on a regular basis, but we are certainly living in a survival mode now, probably all day, every day for a lot of us. If you live in a city, if you work, if you have a job, if you don't have a job, if you're a stay-at-home parent, if you have to sit in traffic, if you watch the news, if you scroll through Instagram, if you consume food that's a part of like living in the Western culture. So whether it's processed food or I don't even know, like even just conventional food that's healthy but is probably packed with lots of chemicals and hormones. The air we breathe, the things that we put in, you know, have in our homes, the foods that we eat, all of this can really contribute to more and more levels of stress. And it's basically, if you were to imagine this cup is your stress tolerance, right? And this water is all the stress that we encounter on a regular basis. We're just filling it up, filling it up, filling it up, filling it up. And if we don't have ways to release that stress, to combat that stress, if we don't know how to do different things in our life, including nutrition, that can really help us get our adrenals back in order, get our cortisol levels back in order, and get the hormones that are affecting our cortisol levels, are affecting, back into balance. We're just going to continue to fill that stress bucket up. And that's where things like chronic fatigue, autoimmune diseases, chronic anxiety, chronic depression can all really stem from. And then it just becomes a snowball that gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And I don't want that to happen to any of us. And I want you to feel confident that you can reverse what you've gone through and slowly come back to yourself, no matter how far down the rabbit hole you feel like you are. And I know the mind, especially in states of chronic stress, is like our worst enemy. It basically tells us that nothing is possible, that there's no hope, that anything that you try isn't going to be worth it. And it really like cancels out any potential inspiration or motivation you may have a spark of, like right off the bat. So we need to start doing small little things to help us, to help ourselves. Okay, so I'm gonna give us about a good amount of Cortisol Solutions. I'm giving you guys like the real deal. This is no BS. This is real talk. I want you to walk away today with tangible solutions that you can put into action, and also simple, lazy action steps. Stuff that you can do even on your worst day. All right? This is literally stuff straight out of my cortisol balance course. I don't want to gatekeep anything, right? I want you to have the answers. I want you to be able to know what we're talking about. And if you want to join the cortisol balance course at some point, amazing, great. There's lots of support in there. There's even more information there, but I want to make sure I'm giving you guys like real information. So you definitely don't want to miss out on this. Okay, so the first thing that is at the top of this list when it comes to our nutrition is to balance your blood sugar. What does this mean? Why do we want to do it? When our blood sugar is on a roller coaster where it's spiking high and then dropping low and then spiking high and then dropping low, our cortisol levels are pretty much mimicking this. They go hand in hand. So, did you know that your blood sugar and cortisol were so directly linked? This creates sugar cravings. This creates anxiety plummets. This is what hunger feels like. This is what is contributing to a lot of the reason why you might be waking up at 2 or 3 or 4 a.m. and not getting back to sleep. It stems back to blood sugar. And you might be thinking like, well, my blood sugar levels are fine. Like I get them tested. I don't have diabetes. I'm not even pre-diabetic. This doesn't apply to me. And I just want to challenge you to say it does. It really does. It's very common. And I don't think we give a lot of credence or credit to it being something that we all need to really dive deep on. And honestly, it doesn't take a lot of effort to do what I'm going to tell you to do. So the first thing that you're going to be doing is prioritizing protein at breakfast. So you might be saying, I'm not even hungry in the morning. I don't even like breakfast. I don't want to eat breakfast. I am into intermittent fasting. So I understand all of that. And my guidance for you is to make this a goal. So for people, for example, who aren't hungry in the morning, this not having an appetite in the morning is actually related to high cortisol levels. So for example, let's just say you're not hungry or don't want to eat anything until noon. So you have coffee in the morning, you get to work, you're not even feeling like you want anything until later. What I'm going to challenge you to do is to eat that first meal of your day 15 minutes earlier over the course of a few weeks. So for example, let's just say you eat at 12 noon every day. Tomorrow you're going to start eating at 11:45. Then a few days later, you're going to start eating at 11:30, and so on and so forth until you find your appetite starts to improve earlier and earlier within an hour of waking. So ideally, we want to be eating something within an hour of waking, and we want to prioritize protein at this first meal, whether it's protein powder, whether it's eggs, whether it's chicken salad, tuna salad, Greek yogurt. I have a lot of these blood sugar balancing ideas and recipes in the bonus recipe book that you get if you decide to join the Cortisol Balance course. Avocado on toast with a hard-boiled egg. I talk about more simple ways to do this, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Okay, but that's part one. For another thing to help balance your blood sugar, you need to be eating more quality fats than you probably realize you need to be eating. If you were brought up, I don't know, in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, you've probably been indoctrinated that low fat is the way to go, no fat's the way to go, and it's hard to unlearn that. But truly, we need to eat more fat than we think we do. So adding this in a small little way in each meal is a great way to help to balance your blood sugar, because fat makes our food take longer to digest. When it takes longer to digest and slows that down, it gradually increases our blood instead of spiking our blood sugar. And again, I really go through this with lots of amazing visuals so you can really see what the difference between a croissant or a bagel in the morning does to your blood sugar versus a croissant with avocado and eggs, whole eggs, does to your blood sugar, and how significantly different that is. So that's another thing. The last thing I want to mention for balancing your blood sugar today is two more things. So there are 2 supplements that you can use that can help to balance your blood sugar. The first one is called L-glutamine. This is an amino acid, something that we get in protein when we eat it. It's a building block of protein. But it really does help to naturally balance our blood sugar levels. So this is a supplement you can take in capsule form. You could take it in powder form. You can add it to a smoothie. Very, very easy to get, and you would just have it first thing in the morning. I give dosages, I give examples, I give exactly how to take this supplement. Again, in the Balance Your Blood Sugar workbook that comes in the Cortisol Balance course. But glutamine, I take it as a powder, and I just add it to water, add it to smoothies. The second supplement, and it's not really a supplement, it's apple cider vinegar. So if you have a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar before your meals, it's actually also going to help balance your blood sugar levels. Typically, this is disgusting. I'm not gonna lie. It's not good. It doesn't taste good. What I do is I will make a little cortisol mocktail, so either a warm one or a cold one, depending on what I want that day. And I'll put apple cider vinegar into it, and I'll just have this, and it usually has honey in it. Sometimes it has lemon. Sometimes I put an orange juice or grapefruit juice in it, and a few other ingredients. And it helps to, one, enjoy this in a way that's going to support my adrenal glands also, and get the apple cider vinegar in before I eat. And my last tip for balancing blood sugar, which also has a lot of other benefits, is when you sit down to eat, how many of us are just in a state of chaos and fight or flight, right? Very few of us sit down, take a moment to breathe, to maybe give gratitude for having this meal, not be distracted by the TV, by our phones, multitasking, and we just sit and be with our food and the experience of eating. I got reminded of this when I was recently on a hiking and a camping trip, and I was with other people and we didn't even have phone service. So when we would sit and eat our meals, you would be so in the moment and so in touch with your body and so calm and so regulated that it felt nourishing, like on a whole other level. It felt satiating and satisfying on a whole other level to really, really enjoy the food that you were eating. So my tip here is to remind yourself, you sit down to eat, before you take a bite, put your hand on your chest and you take 5 deep breaths. 5 slow, deep breaths. And this is going to slow down your chaotic states of just moving and grooving. This is going to tell your nervous system that you're safe. When your nervous system feels safe, you digest food better, you connect with your hunger and full hormones better, your cortisol levels drop. And I know it's simple, but remember what I said at the beginning. These tips are simple, they're powerful. They bring us back to what we've known for thousands of years that we just forget. So those are my few tips on how to balance blood sugar, which is going to be a major thing to help to lower and balance our cortisol levels, whether they're too high or too low. The second nutrition tip I have for today is to decrease caffeine and replace what you're drinking with, okay, let me just restart that one. You're going to decrease the amount of caffeine that you're having during the day. Don't worry, I'm not going to take it away from you. We're not cutting it away. But I want you to push it out for 60 minutes. So instead of caffeine and coffee or whatever you have being the first thing that you do in the morning after you brush your teeth, I want you to wait 60 minutes. Don't worry, I'm not going to leave you hanging. You're going to have a warm, adrenal supporting beverage in that first 60 minutes before you have your first cup of coffee. All right. So I'm not taking it away from you. Here's an example of like a chill out elixir that you can have first thing in the morning that keeps your warm, cozy ritual happening. And I'm going to give you a warm one and a cold one. So for people who want to drink warm drinks or cold drinks. So the first one is going to be a warm almond milk, warm coconut milk, whatever you like. You're going to put a teaspoon of turmeric powder in. You're going to put a teaspoon of ginger powder in. You're going to put a teaspoon of cinnamon. And if you want, you put a pinch of black pepper in. And you can add some like raw local honey in that as well. Enjoy that. It's really warm. It's really nourishing. It's got no caffeine. It's not going to pre-spike your cortisol levels. It's not going to ramp up your symptoms, your anxiety. It's actually going to start you off on a much better, healthier note. A cold drink idea is going to be 1 cup of coconut water, which has lots of delicious electrolytes in it. You can add a little citrus into this. So you can add some lemon juice into this. You can add some orange juice into this. You can add some grapefruit juice into this. Just a little bit, like maybe 1/4 cup, if that, just a splash. And this is going to provide lots of delicious vitamin C, which is great for adrenal support. Adrenals need vitamin C. And then you're going to sprinkle like a tiny little sprinkle of sea salt into this cocktail. And again, this is for sodium, for electrolyte balance, for adrenal function, which is key. So those are 2 options, and I have plenty more like mocktails and warm, delicious drinks that you can do in the morning before you have your first cup of coffee. So that's all I'm going to say about that, because I love coffee, and if I had to cut it out before I was ready, I would be angry. I wouldn't be happy, and I'd probably just shut this live off immediately. I'd be like, who is this girl who's trying to take my delicious coffee away from me? I just bought like a pumpkin coffee from, I don't know, something from somewhere yesterday, from Marshall's. And it's just so good. It's not sweet. It's just like pumpkin essence. I don't know how they make it. All I know is it's good. So that's my one suggestion for your caffeine. Again, small, simple tips. Okay. The next tip is you are going to hydrate like a boss. Hydrate like nobody's business. Now this is going to sound kind of silly, but we all know water, get more of it in. We add lemon to it. That's great. Electrolytes, stuff like that. We talked about adding some sea salt into your water. I would recommend, if you are a person who finds the taste of water is gross, you're like, I don't like how water tastes. This tastes weird. It tastes boring. It tastes flat. It tastes bland. I'd rather drink seltzer or, sparkling water instead. I challenge you to add some sea salt into your water. I find when my body is electrolyte deficient, so I am dehydrated, but dehydrated with from electrolytes, when I add sea salt to my water, not only does it taste way better, it doesn't taste like salt water, like this is gross. It actually tastes like a quenching taste. And I find that my thirst is quenched. So experiment with it. It's not needed for every single person whose cortisol levels are imbalanced. For people whose cortisol levels are too high or have high blood pressure, it's not really recommended to add more salt to your water, but for a lot of us, we do need it. And maybe we only need it on certain days. For those of you who have low energy, who don't ever really feel rested, this is something I recommend for you definitely to try, because when our cortisol levels are imbalanced for long periods of time, it does mess with the hormone that actually monitors our blood pressure. So we tend to have lower blood pressure. We tend to have other issues that are going to come along with this. So sea salt in your water. Yeah. The other thing I want to mention that's kind of silly but totally works is have a water bottle that you like drinking out of. This is so psychological, but when I'm drinking at home out of a glass cup, I'm not excited. This doesn't make me happy. This is boring. I don't know. Maybe it's because I feel like an adult or something, but this doesn't want me to have more water. I just don't get excited about it. I started drinking out of this glass thing. This doesn't even really get me that excited. I don't have it with me, but I just bought a brand new water bottle. It's downstairs. I got it from Marshall's. It's 40 ounces. It's not a Stanley cup, because I can't describe to you how annoying it is to see Stanley cups everywhere. And so I'm just an anti-trend follower. I don't really know how to describe myself. But I just don't want to own one. But I want a water bottle that I like, that's light, that's functional, that's pretty, that I enjoy drinking out of, that I get excited about. And for some reason, having a nice water bottle does it for me. So get something that you like drinking out of, make it fun, make it a game, and just go nuts with it. I know it sounds ridiculous, but this is how our mind works, okay? All right. What tip are we on? 4? Magnesium. Magnesium Magic. So I want you to be adding foods that have a high amount of the supplements that are going to support your cortisol and your adrenals. And I want you to add them in anywhere and everywhere you can. For magnesium, spinach is one of the foods that has high amount of magnesium, or any dark leafy greens, magnesium central. How can we get more spinach or more leafy greens into every meal of our day? Let's just play a game. I could add spinach to my morning eggs. I literally take a huge handful, a crap load is pretty much the scientific measurement of what I use in my eggs, and dump it in there. Same thing with smoothies. I will use frozen spinach for that, just because it's easier. Whether it is sauteed spinach, whether I am making a salad, like I'll just find ways, little ways. I'm like, how can I add this in? What's a creative way I can do this? What's a really easy way I can do this? Sometimes I hide it from myself. Any ways to get spinach in. But like I was mentioning at the beginning, when we're in such a chronically stressed state, we need to do more. We need to add in more. And we have to really utilize supplements for this. So here are a few of the best forms of magnesium. And what they're best for, okay? So we have magnesium glycinate. This is going to be best for improving your mood, improving your sleep, supporting your adrenals, and even supporting menstrual cramps. This is something that typically I would take in a capsule form or in a powder form, and I would take it at the end of the day before bedtime. Magnesium threonate, L-threonate, has been best shown for the brain and supporting anxiety and depression. This one tends to be more expensive than the other ones I'm going to mention, and I think it's worth trying, but if you don't find it's really making that much of a difference, I would stick with magnesium glycinate. Magnesium citrate is going to really be supportive for constipation relief. So if you're someone who's backed up, go for citrate. And if you're also someone who needs like improved mood, sleep, adrenals, etc., also do magnesium glycinate. So you can take these like a combination of these. Magnesium sulfate and magnesium malate are both really great for muscle relaxation, muscle soreness, muscle pain, like fibromyalgia pain and things like that. Magnesium sulfate is the one that typically Epsom salts are have in them. So just to kind of give you a good idea. But magnesium is going to be very key for this. This is kind of like in a tangent, but another supplement that's really vital for our adrenals when our cortisol levels are high is vitamin C. And not just any vitamin C, but liposomal vitamin C. This is going to be best absorbed. Typically what you find in the store is like ascorbic acid, and that's fine. It'll do something. It'll definitely like get into your body, but liposomal vitamin C, when we're talking about adrenal support, is really going to be vital. So that's something that you can find. I have all of these supplement protocols in my full script, like professional supplement store, and I make little like protocols. So like I have ones for high cortisol, I have ones for low cortisol, I have ones to help if you have trouble sleeping, I have ones if you have for blood sugar balance. So I break all this down in the Cortisol Balance course. I have workbooks for everything, I have links for everything. But if you can always just sign up for the full script supplement store and also get access to them. But like if you really want to see everything laid out, all of that I have for you in the Cortisol Balance bonus supplement workbook. So it's one of the 6 bonuses in the Cortisol course right now. You've been using it recently and it's been for nearly 2 weeks. You can feel a difference. Fantastic. Love that. Okay, so before I give you some tips on like what to do in the beginning of the day and the middle of the day, now let's talk about end of the day. So how do we end our day? What are the nutrition things we need to do towards the end of our day to help us really feel our best? So the first thing is I want you to, I know a lot of us are like afraid of carbs, and we know that carbs can impact us in a negative way if we don't, like it can impact our blood sugar in a negative way if we don't combine them with proteins and fats. Well, what I want you to do is, especially if you're someone whose energy levels are really high at the end of the day, or you've trouble winding down your mind, trouble winding down your body, is to have more carbs with your dinner. course, I'm always going to recommend high quality carbs. So sweet potatoes, different types of squash, rice. I'm always going to recommend like a high quality, nutrient dense carb, but have more of them with dinner. Maybe you're someone who ends your day just like with protein and vegetables. I want you to make sure you have a nutrient dense starch with your dinner. Why? Starches and higher quality nutrient dense carbs that aren't just like green vegetables actually help to produce serotonin and melatonin. So serotonin is like known as the happy hormone. It actually plays a big role in producing melatonin. So it's the precursor to melatonin, the hormone that helps us fall asleep. And we want to make sure we're supporting our natural production of this with nutrition. So by increasing your carbs at dinner, this can kind of help that. Another thing that you might want to try is having a small bedtime snack. So I'm not talking about like a big meal where you're mindlessly snacking or you're just sitting in front of the TV and you go to bed on a full stomach. I mean something that's really intentional that will, one, give you that little carb boost, but also will give you some magnesium, will give you some fat, something to help your blood sugars stay regulated throughout the night to prevent you from having those middle of the night wake ups. So for me, this usually looks like some dark frozen cherries and some nuts. So I love a mix of, nuts, cashews, almonds, but I always make sure I have a couple Brazil nuts. I always make sure I have some pumpkin seeds so I get a really good variety of nutrients. And it's just a handful. It's not even necessarily because I'm hungry, but I'm doing it to help, again, my blood sugar and my cortisol overnight to kind of like help keep me asleep. Something I also noticed from like past when I would unknowingly be dieting or starving myself or under eating is if I was hungry when I went to bed, I was more likely to wake up overnight because when I'm hungry, my blood sugar is gonna drop and my cortisol levels are gonna rise. And I wouldn't be able to get back to sleep unless I ate something. And after a while, I didn't want to continue to just wake up in the middle of the night and be eating at 3 a.m. because it's just like not ideal. It actually triggered a lot of like old binging habits, and I didn't want that to continue. So doing this kind of helped balance all of that out so I would sleep through the night. Okay. What else? I have a couple other recommendations for what to do at night to help your cortisol levels wind down. Another thing is to make sure you're having fats with your dinner. So have an avocado, add more olive oil, make sure have some steak, have some salmon. Add something that has a good quality fat in and have that with dinner. Again, to continue to talk about the satiation thing. When it comes to supplements, in addition to magnesium, you're going to want to look at adaptogens. So ashwagandha, rhodiola, holy basil are just a few. I like to recommend a supplement called rhodiola rosea. The name of the actual supplement is Adrenavive, sorry. Just totally went out of my brain. It's called Adrenavive, and this contains a combination of adaptogens, which are going to help whatever your adrenals need to help bring cortisol levels down, to help bring them up. And I typically recommend people to take it at the end of the day before bedtime. And this is going to help as well. Other things you can do are to change up your nighttime ritual. So if you're someone who, especially we're going into like winter, it's getting darker earlier, we might not be as active or be as, like doing things later into the evening. And you might find you're sitting in front of the TV earlier. You might find you're just kind of in this routine of after dinner, you're bored, you're mindlessly scrolling, you're mindlessly watching TV, and you just want a snack because it feels good. And I don't want you to totally change up your nighttime routine where you're just pulling everything that feels good and joyful and relaxing at the end of the day away from you. But I want you to start to slowly implement little things that maybe feel better. A warm bath, a good book, listening to some good music, signaling to your body that it's time to wind down, but you don't have an association with like stress, you don't have an association with eating, you don't have an association with doing something mindless. So I want you to start to experiment and explore what might feel good and give that a try and let me know. The other two things that you can, or the other one thing that you can do, again, related to having a adrenal supporting something before bed, is to make a little tart cherry juice mocktail. So tart cherry juice is something that's really great for our adrenals. So if you have just like 4 ounces, a little couple sips, tart cherry juice, add some water, maybe add some coconut water for electrolytes, and have that, maybe have a little handful of nuts, make that your little bedtime snack. This is again something that can help support your cortisol levels so that they come down overnight so you can truly fall asleep. All right, so let me just check in with you guys. How are we doing? What are we feeling? We're not done, don't worry. Still have lots of things to share with you. If you're watching this or you just joined, I will be posting a replay, so don't worry. And the cortisol balance, you'll be able to unlock the cortisol balance course even if you're watching the replay. You can do that by commenting stress here on Instagram, right in the comments. Or if you're watching this like on the replay page, you can scroll down and you'll be able to see how to unlock the cortisol balance course. There's 6 brand new bonuses that I've just added in. Everything's hyper-focused on nutrition. Everything's hyper-focused on how to actually like implement these things on a easy basis. Stuff that I personally do, especially when times are very stressful and I don't have a lot of time to think. I don't want to put a lot of effort. I don't have the energy. I just want to be able to stick to these habits or really start to change my habits in these times. There's 9 modules. There's lots of video modules breaking the stuff down. There's a workbook that goes along with everything. There's supplement protocols. There's a bunch of new bonuses. The bonuses include a cortisol belly masterclass, which is going to tell you more details on how to do the things that you need to do to decrease cortisol belly. There's a new lymphatic drainage bonus, which I'm really excited about. I'm going to record that this week, so it'll be up very, very soon. And that's going to teach you how to decrease the puffiness in your face and in your body that happens when we have increased inflammation. There is a cortisol balance supplement recommendation workbook and the supplement protocols that you can just easily see what you need, whether it's to help you sleep, to help balance your blood sugar, to help decrease your energy, decrease anxiety, decrease cravings, etc. This one is awesome. I'm really excited for this, and you guys are going to get like early access. So starting on November 1st, we're going to do a 30-day cortisol rebalance challenge. So for 30 days, we're going to, as a group, take a cortisol rebalancing action step and implement it into our lives. And I don't know about you, but there's nothing better than doing a group challenge to help like kickstart my momentum, to kickstart my excitement, to kickstart my enthusiasm, to make me feel like I'm not doing this alone in the world and by myself. Because as much as I want to do things and have them like locked in place, sometimes it's just more fun to do it with friends. It's more fun to do it when you know other people are doing it along with you and to have that camaraderie. So that's going to start on November 1st, and you guys will be able to get that as a bonus. And then there are the balance your blood sugar, and anti-inflammatory recipe books that are also included. All right, but I have a few more tips, so don't go anywhere. All right, so how do we start to implement these nutrition hacks when we have no energy and no time? Are you ready? Here we go. Number 1, these are things that I personally do today. My lazy hacks, okay? My lazy hacks, I literally do them every week. Even though I have good energy, I still do it because it's easier. I don't know. I just do. And I just want to share it with you guys. All right. So number 1, buy all of your vegetables frozen. There is nothing bigger than meat. There's no obstacle bigger to me eating vegetables than if I have to cut them up. That's just a fact. If I enter the grocery store in a state of mind that suddenly makes me buy whole vegetables thinking, I'm going to cut this up, I'm going to make a soup, I'm going to buy this squash, it's going to sit there and it's going to rot. And I don't want to waste food. So I just know myself and I tell myself, it's okay, self, just buy pre-cut or frozen vegetables. That's how I eat them. That's how I'm going to get them in. So I will go to the grocery store section where they already have the chopped up Brussels sprouts, where they already have the chopped up stir fry vegetables. I'll go to Trader Joe's. I'll go to Whole Foods. I'll search on Amazon and I will buy frozen vegetables or pre-cut vegetables. I make sure that the ingredients aren't loaded with a bunch of crap. It's usually just the vegetables with no added spices or oils, or sometimes they have just like very, very basic flavoring. But I never buy anything in like a sauce. I just don't really like the flavor of that stuff. But I literally buy, my freezer is packed with frozen vegetables. I kid you not. So once I have them and they're frozen, I just throw them into my little, like, I have one of those convection oven toasters. I think it's also like a air fryer. I don't know. It looks like a spaceship. And I just throw everything in there, salt, pepper, olive oil, and let it go. Let it ride. I will do this on the stove with, I'll just make stir fries. I'll just throw a bunch of things in there. It's literally a mess. It doesn't look good. It tastes great, but that's all I care about. I just want it to be easy. I know vegetables are important. I want to get them in. I like eating them. I just don't want to put a lot of effort into doing it. So my number 1 tip for that is buy all your vegetables frozen or already pre-cut. Remember, easy, actionable, simple. Number 2, I kind of already told you, cook them in your air fryer / convection oven. Why? Because it's faster. It heats up way faster than doing it all in the oven. It's an easier cleanup, less effort, period. Number 3 is do this when you're already cooking. So for example, if you are going to be cooking dinner tonight, I'm already dirtying a bunch of pots and pans. I'm already cooking. So I'm just going to cook more things because I'm already in the mindset of I have to cook X, Y, and Z. So I'm also going to cook A, B, and C for tomorrow. Or maybe I'll cook it and freeze it. All I'm saying is ride the wave. If you're already cooking, you don't have to have like a set meal prep time on a Sunday at 4:44 p.m. That needs to be your cook time. There's no wrong time to cook. There's no right time to cook. Just do it when you can. So for example, often when I'm making breakfast, because I do like to make breakfast, I just make eggs in the morning or ground bison, or in the middle of the day, I work from home to take just like a mental break. I'll just sometimes get the energy to cook a bunch of stuff while I'm cooking lunch. And so I'll just make a bunch of stuff and then I don't have to make anything for the next few days. It's already ready, it's frozen, or it's in my fridge and I can just kind of like put it together and it's very, very easy. Make things easier for yourself. Be lazy, embrace it. My next tip is to buy rotisserie chicken. Sounds so ridiculous, but I'm serious. Buy rotisserie chicken from the grocery store. It's usually delicious. It's cooked really well. It's a whole food. You get the whole chicken, and it's just a really great way that you can add protein or already have like a cooked high quality protein ready for you. I will make chicken salad out of this. I'll just add it to my stir fry. I'll just cut off a piece of the chicken breast and just have it with some of those vegetables that I, defrosted. So again, make it easy for yourself. My next tip is about breakfast. I still have a lot more, you guys. Are you here? Are you still here? Are you still here for this? Are these helpful? Let me know, please, in the comments. Otherwise, we'll talk about something else. Making a bunch of sweet potatoes and grabbing is needed, for sure. Yeah, because sweet potatoes take like 45 minutes to make in the oven. So why are you going to make one? Make 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to get eaten. You can even freeze them. Totally. Okay, cool. All right, my next step is, as I was saying, as you are eating your first meal of the day earlier and earlier, right, in an effort to eating breakfast within an hour of getting up, make it easy and obvious so that you start doing it, period, or so you start having better quality breakfasts. Now that I eat the same thing for breakfast every day. It doesn't bother me. I don't know why. It's my favorite meal. It's delicious. It never gets old. That is 2 eggs. It's, over easy. Sauteed ground bison that I've already prepped. See above. Tomatoes and spinach, sauteed, in the pan. And then I heat up, I toast half an English muffin and I put avocado on it. This literally takes me 5 minutes. I'm not exaggerating. And the reason it takes 5 minutes is because I don't know why a convection toaster oven takes 5 minutes to toast a piece of toast. Why does it take so long? I don't know. I don't have one of those like toast popper, traditional toaster oven. You know what I'm saying? That pops up. That it takes 45 seconds to toast a piece of toast. I don't own one of those. I only own a toasting convection oven spaceship. So it takes 5 minutes to toast half an English muffin. And that's the reason why it takes even 5 minutes to make my breakfast. What's my point? My point is, once you get your breakfast down to a routine, it doesn't have to take you more than 5 to 10 minutes to make it. And then you can take 10 to 15 minutes to enjoy it and eat it. So this is or just take it on the road with you, right? I think a lot of us are like, breakfast takes so long to make. I don't have enough time to make a full meal that has real food in it or protein. I don't have time to make eggs. I think this is just because you haven't had 4 years of experience making the same meal every day. And so you should really give it a try. That's my advice. But no, in all seriousness, find something that doesn't take you that long to make because you deserve to have a really good quality meal in the morning. Speaking of that, this could be a smoothie. There are some things you want to make sure that you do and you don't do when it comes to cortisol and you're having a smoothie for a meal. One of those things is you absolutely want there to be protein and fats in that smoothie. You never want to have a smoothie that's only fruit. That's because blood sugar. So I would add a scoop of protein powder. I would add fat like avocado, coconut oil, MCT oil, peanut butter, chopped up nuts, anything like that. You can also add in collagen. You can also add in maca powder, which is going to be great. You can also add in cacao, which is also great. You can add your powdered supplements into this. You can do a lot with a smoothie when you think about it. My other tip for this is get frozen fruit. They even make pre-packaged little bags of frozen fruit now that you can get that's already pre-portioned, so you don't have to cut it up. So you don't have to worry about what is going to taste good together. Again, decisions I don't want to think about. Decisions that are just going to pull more energy out of my body that I don't even have. So keep it simple, keep it lazy, and just keep going. My next tip, because I am really guilty of forgetting to take supplements. I forget to take my vitamins and minerals. If it's out of sight, it's out of mind. my brain doesn't have the thought, you need to take your supplements today, like it does when it says you need to brush your teeth today. So I have to leave them out. I have to leave them where I can see them. So that's my recommendation for you. Wherever you're going to take your supplements, leave them there. Leave them in your bathroom, leave them out on the kitchen table, leave them next to your sink, leave them next to your bed on your nightstand. If you're going to take them before bed. If you're going to take them during the day, obviously keep them somewhere you're going to take them during the day. I have my, these are my hair supplements. It's called Viviscal. I've been taking them for years. It's awesome. I won't remember to take them unless they're right here. And when they're right here, I'm sitting at my desk and I'm like, oh, there are my Viviscal hair supplements, and I take them. That's it. Keep it simple. Make it easy. I already talked to you about having a fun water bottle, so we're not going to focus on that, but have something you enjoy drinking out of, period. We talked about taking 5 deep breaths before you eat your meals. Slowing down is going to help your nervous system slow down. It's going to help your cortisol levels drop. You'll feel safe. You'll eat slower. You'll connect to your hunger and your full cues. And you'll also start to enjoy what you're eating and actually feel satisfied by it. This is something I remind myself of daily, and sometimes I forget. But when I do it, I notice my entire state, from my chest to my neck to my belly, settles. And it feels so much better. And it takes 5 seconds. Love that. This next tip is to save time and energy going grocery shopping. Use a grocery delivery service. I know that it's not available to everyone to pay the $10 delivery fee to have your groceries delivered. That's approximately what it costs to get your groceries delivered from Instacart, from Amazon, which delivers from Whole Foods, to use Peapod. Like, there's a bunch of different grocery delivery services. If you can, I highly recommend you do this. It is such a time saver and is so well worth it for your mental health, for just like saving time for yourself. Your orders are usually like pre-saved in the app or on the website. So you kind of just like click rebuy or whatever. It just saves you so much time. Instead of taking an hour, 30 minutes out of your day, multiple times a week maybe, to go grocery shopping. Even if you were to do this once a month and just do a really big order and save stuff, freeze stuff, whatever, it's such a time saver. If you don't have the ability to do that, and your grocery store has like the checkout scanning gun that you can take with you throughout the store. Like, you can basically scan every single thing. As you grab it off the shelf, you scan it and you put it right into your grocery bag. Do this. All you need to do is like swipe your grocery key thing. Why can't I think of it? Your grocery key card, that gives you all the discounts and stuff. I do this at Stop and Shop. I just scan my little grocery card. The scanning thing lights up. I grab it and I literally scan everything as I grab it off the shelf and I put it right into my grocery bag. This probably saves me half the time than I would normally take if I were to just do normal grocery shopping. Do you know how many times you take something, put it into your cart, take it out of your cart, and put it back into your cart when you're grocery shopping? 3 times. Take it off the shelf, goes into the cart. Go up to the cashier, you take it out of the cart, right? Onto the belt. And then you put it back into your cart once it's in the grocery bag. That's 3 times. It just, so redundant. There's so many repeating moments there. So now I just scan it, I put it into my grocery bags, which I already have in my cart, and then I literally walk up to the self-checkout with the scanning gun that now has my entire order on it. I scan the little barcode, I pay, and I'm out of there. I swear it takes me 20 minutes to do a full grocery shop. It's awesome. Do it if your grocery store has the thing. Okay, 3 more things I'm going to share with you. I don't know what number we're on, is to cook your grains in bone broth when you want like a savory, nutrient-dense rice, quinoa, anything like that. Anything that's going to soak up the bone broth, highly recommend that you cook your grains in bone broth. I love Kettle and Fire. That's the brand. If you're craving snacks at night, or if you're craving snacks, I have a lot of supplements that can help curb this craving. And also it helps to balance the nutrients that you're probably missing out on that are creating the cravings. You might just need to add some more fat to your meals, which we spoke about, but you may also have to do some digging to discover what it is you're really craving. Sometimes we just crave food out of habit because we're bored, because we're unsatisfied, because nothing exciting happened, because we want a reward, because we feel lonely, because there's nothing better to do. And we get a little dopamine hit every time we think about like, ooh, I get to have my snack at the end of the day. But we're not really wanting it. We would rather be doing something else, but we don't have anything else to do. So we just go into the cabinet and grab something. Now, like we spoke about, this is going to be maybe spiking your blood sugar. Maybe it's contributing to your cortisol levels. So like I kind of mentioned, it's not about taking away your evening snack rituals or things that you truly enjoy doing, but it's about making you feel just more excited about your life. The goal is to feel more fulfilled, right? We all want to feel more fulfilled, more joyful, more connected. And what I realized is, I made this connection when I started to recover from binge eating, is that when my heart, when my mind, when my soul are filled up, I didn't crave food. I didn't crave food in the way that was harmful. I didn't have those binge urges when my mind, my soul, my heart were filled. So that told me there are things that I'm craving on a deeper level, and I need to figure out how to give those things to myself. And that was my last tip. That was my last tip of this workshop. I'm just going to kind of let you all ask your questions and everything. And as you do that, I am just going to just kind of re-emphasize some of the things that I've noticed and my, clients, my members have noticed they feel as their cortisol levels are balancing out in a positive way. So for example, I think the biggest thing for me is having energy that actually lasts throughout the day. That's one of the first things that indicates to me that I'm stressed, my cortisol levels aren't balanced, is when my energy levels are kind of like wonky and fluctuating. So waking up feeling refreshed, not needing to hit snooze 5 times in a row, really having a to-do list that I feel on top of, that I'm not like dreading, but it actually feels good to complete and I feel productive. Not feeling like my body is just full of water, like puffiness. When I wake up with my eyes really puffy, with my face really puffy, with under eye bags, with darker circles, my top eyelids get really, really puffy, and I already have hooded eyelids, so it makes everything just look like really, really heavy. And this eye, which I have like a weak eyelid muscle in, a lot of you ask about it. It's something I was born with, just a weak eyelid muscle, but it gets even heavier when I have a lot of inflammation in my face. So I notice with cortisol and stress, that increases and my face looks more aged, doesn't look as vibrant. My belly feels more inflamed, things like that. So these are things that alleviate as you do the lymphatic drainage, as you change what you're putting into your body for nutrition, as you incorporate more somatic movement, etc. Sleeping through the night. I think that's a really key one. As much as we want to sleep through the night, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen. And so we need to start kind of doing little things and little tweaks to see what is going to help us the most when it comes to our sleep. Feeling confident in your body, having the presence, the patience to be with yourself in the moment without needing to distract, making deeper connections with the people in your life, having relationships that you get to show up as your best self, whether you're dating, whether you're in a long-term partnership, whether you have a family, whether it's just, with your immediate family, being able to be with them and truly be yourself with them and not feel irritable, not feel exhausted, not want to isolate, I think is something that's really a key thing in terms of recovering from all this. So I am going to be emailing this workshop out, so you can watch the replay. It'll be here on Instagram for a few days, and then it will disappear. And I will be adding it into the Cortisol Balance course, which is something you can join. You'll get lifetime access to this workshop. There's 9 modules that are literally taking you through every single thing we spoke about today and more. It is a course I am very proud of. It has helped a lot of people not only balance their cortisol, but get their life back, to understand how to live where stress doesn't control you. Their mental health is regained, their energy is regained, their personality is regained, their vitality is regained. They feel more energized, they feel more alive, they feel better physically in their body, by making these changes. And I think that being a part of something instead of doing it on your own is a big part of that. That's also why we're going to be doing the 30-day cortisol rebalance challenge starting on November 1st, which you guys get as a bonus when you join. And there's just a lot of other perks, and I'm just really happy to be able to offer it. There are payment plans. I want to make this as accessible as possible to people. And there's you could just pay in full for it as well, but there's a lot of options for that. It is $200 off for the next few days. So if you want in, definitely take advantage of the $200 discount, which you get literally for just being here and watching this workshop. I know you obviously care about your time, you care about your health, and that's just a thank you to spending time with me and spending time with yourself for doing something positive. So I know we covered a lot today, and the workshop, and the course is something that you'll be able to spend a little bit more time on each of these topics that are important to you a little bit more specifically. So for example, the blood sugar stuff, the cortisol belly stuff, the cortisol face stuff, the energy stuff, all of this is really laid out very clearly in the course. If you want more information, just comment stress here or on the replay, just comment in the comments and I'll send you a link to learn more. You can read through, see what the modules are all about, see some of the testimonials of people, and decide if it's right for you. And if it's not, that's cool too. But it's here for you if you find that you're ready for it. So thank you guys so much for being here and for participating. I hope to continue to give you content that's helpful that you can implement into your daily life. And any questions you have, please feel free to send me a DM. Thank you guys. Bye. Have a great day. Bye.